Waikato-based company Aeronavics produces drones for a variety of industries. These unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, offer exciting possibilities for the agriculture sector in particular. Company Director Linda Bulk explains.
Aeronavics manufactures drones, essentially. We focus on 4 core industries, one of them being media, sort of professional filmmaking, one of them being public services, as we call that. So we're looking at search and rescue, police and fire brigade sort of applications. And then the third really large sector is industry, is the industrial inspections. It's the surveying equipment and things like that. And the fourth is agriculture, and that is identified worldwide as being the largest user group of this technology, or at least to become. And it's just because there's so many applications across the whole sector. We've identified 3 value propositions that are really easy to sort of get started with. One of them is just have that eye in the sky and being able to see what goes on the farm without having to jump on your quad bike and actually having to drive there. Especially in hill country and these really hard to access areas, it saves a lot of time and it keeps people safe. So that's a very sort of straightforward value proposition. Have a camera up in the drone, have a live view of what the camera is seeing up there and see what goes on. A second value proposition that we have identified is fitting the drone with an NVDI or multispectral camera to gather data to measure crop health and growth monitoring and progress. So that is starting to being used in the horticulture sectors, being able to forecast yield to see, detect diseases at an early stage is very important as well. And then the third proposition is farm mapping. We're getting a lot of interest of academic institutes, of universities. There's a lot of research going on. The drone is essentially being seen as a vehicle to gather data. It's been interesting for us to see in those environments how the technology has progressed. Like 3 years ago, a lot of the research went into the actual drone, where these days the research mostly goes into the sensors and the information that the sensor is gathering out in the field, and they're actually coming to us and just want to have a ready-built drone. We're looking here at the precision spray machine. So this is a prototype that we developed about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago when we came to Reglan. We had Callahan Innovation knocking on our door. They had actually just been established. Regional business partners also joined, and they said, we can help you. We really want to support you in your R&D. A precision spray machine is something that we had explored, and we had so much feedback that would be really beneficial to be just identifying those spots that need to be sprayed and targeting those, and also to get to those really hard to reach areas where you can't just come with a big airplane and just, sort of nuke the whole area, but where you really want to be targeting certain particular weeds. This particular machine carries about 5 to 6 litres. We're building at this moment a prototype that can carry 10 to 15 litres. We're targeting for that to being able to fly for about 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, you would be surprised how much area you can actually cover. Ballpark cost figure, so for the drone itself to be carrying such a weight is generally around $25,000 to $30,000. So add the spray installation to that, which I don't know, I might add $10,000 or $15,000, or maybe I'm out. But between the $30,000 and $50,000, you'll have it. This is one of our high-end drones. So this is a large drone with a lot of lift capability, and there's been a lot of R&D that's gone into that. Sort of the standard drones, the eye in the sky proposition starts at around $12,000 up to around $15,000. There you've got all your training, etc. included, and then it goes up from there.
So pre-programmed waypoints. Just code will be uploaded and craft will take off. The craft can be operated fully autonomous from a tablet, so that's handy if you want to do inspection work or scan for photogrammetry or survey work. So your waypoint can be programmed, saved, and can be repeated, and the craft can take off and autonomously land itself. To fly the grid, I've just looked at Google Map image and put some markers on the map and just tell the craft to take off and fly those markers at the speed and altitude. It's repeatable, so you can save that flight plan. So if it was used for inspection work, you can just go back and repeat that same inspection day after day. Whatever we do here is uploaded to the craft before it takes off, so even if this goes off, the craft will still complete its mission. It's always handy to have your radio with you, so that's another backup if something goes wrong or you want to take over and more comfortable flying with a radio. It's always recommended to have both. From the results, we can get a full 3D model of the area. You can see all the photos that's been taken and how they're placed. And from here we can do all kind of measurements and calculations and contours and export into existing software. And in the last step we've done an index calculation on the results, and that's what they call the NDVI, so it's a normalized index of the vegetation. So this can be translated or related to good areas or bad areas or even to diseases, and depending on how it's configured and set up. So on here, this typical one, we can see bad spots or bad areas and areas where the pasture coverage is better. So this is just another example of just fitting a normal camera and flying over pastures or areas. This can then be used to zoom in and identify 3D areas, do measurements, actual coverage of paddocks, and you can also render some flyovers or views from different angles to inspect. Visually, it can help to assist to identify some problem areas, and if you identify some potential problem areas, you can zoom in and have a good look. That's quite a perception out there that it's hard to fly, but if you can drive a tractor or just drive a quad bike, these are pretty simple. You don't have to control it anymore. They're fully autonomous, so they'll keep track of themselves. We're just maneuvering it around or tell it where to go and what to do. We normally provide a 1 or 2 day training course where we just go through all the operations and the controls and all the fail-safes and what to do. And then normally a farmer can go out and spend about 5 hours on its own, just flying around to get used to it, and then you can be proficient to start operating.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.